Hey, good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. How you guys doing? I hope you are well. We are tip-top, although there has been some changes in the Questioning Sense household. But firstly, I've got to celebrate this weather. We are having a bit of a complete heat wave at the moment in London, and it's glorious. I absolutely adore it. Obviously now it's getting hot. Dusted down all my summer frags, all my sort of clean freshies and long-lasting summer hitters. So if you look on my Instagram page, you will see that I have been putting, there's going to be lots and lots of summer bangers coming up on there. So if you're interested in seeing what you can possibly wear in the summer to combat heat and smell great, have a look on the Instagram page and you will see what I've been posting every day. Now, before we start with this review, I need to apologise to Richard, because I'm going to be talking about a perfume with an incredible note listing. And I know how much Richard loves, because Rich does all the editing, I know how much he loves just typing out notes. So I apologise before we get going.
Thank you. Thank you very desperately, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, now the changes are basically young Matt is now at school, my wife is at work and I'm home alone, which is really, really strange. After months and months of us all being kind of home together or whatever, it's really, really weird having the place to myself. Very strange. Is this new normal that we're getting ready for? I don't know. But let's see what happens, I suppose. It is just a bit odd, though, after all this time when, you know, your house has been full of people and now everyone's kind of gone back to this and all the rest of it. Very strange times. Well, I'll tell you what isn't strange, and that is the perfume I'm about to review. This is another one from Naz, who is a reviewer. He's got a channel called Toiletarian, which is in our links, and I got, I think Sense of Persia is the Sense of Persia is his perfume label, if you want. And he releases perfumes. It's you know, very, very small company. Unfortunately, guys, I think it's only available in the UK at the moment, and you can only get them through eBay. But they're really, really good. A little while ago, I did a review of this one, which is called Persian Assassin. This is a beautiful patchouli, oudi, sandalwood affair, really, really long lasting. I think they're £25 and they come in these 15ml bottles. Now, £25 for 15 mils does sound like quite a lot, but it's not, because they are basically oil and they have blistering performance. So, you know, I reviewed this a while back, the Persian Assassin, and spoke to Naz, and we've kept in touch, and it turns out we've got quite a lot in common. We get on very well. And he said to me, would I like to review another one of his perfumes? I said, of course. So he sent me, and I have to say this is free of charge, this one, which is called Persian Garden. So he sent it over and I said, great, you know, I'll review it and give you my feedback. Beautiful. This is such a departure from this one. Now, I think Persian Assassin is the latest one, and this one has been around for a while. But this is what we're here to talk about today, and this is called Persian Garden. Now, let me, before we go any further with it, let me read out the materials that is used in this. Now, just to say, they all come in these little green bags as well. So the presentation is quite cute. It's a functional bottle. It's very nice. I like the way that the lid slides off there, and there's your sprayer. And look at the colour of the juice. I mean, I love a green frag, but that really is green. That's kind of up there with Wearability. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the note listings so we can see what materials Naz has used for this. Then we'll talk a little bit about the perfume and how I've got on with it. I'm actually wearing it today. I wore it for the school run, my first school run in months. It's been such a strange day. Okay, so here we have, and there's no sort of top, middle or bottom. It's just a long listing of notes. So get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself comfortable. It's not past 12 o'clock, so put your beer down and grab a cup of tea. Here we go. So at the top we have, well, at the top of the list, you have citrus, you have jasmine, you have rose, you have lotus, you have lily, you have vetiver, you have gardenia, you have cinnamon, you have birch, we have cedar, rosewood, and then we have green notes, woody notes, spicy notes, herbal notes, and floral notes. Okay. Now, like Persian Assassin, although this is a perfume, it's more like an attar. If you've got any experience with attars or ouds, you'll recognise the consistency as soon as you spray it. I'm wearing it at the moment. I'm going to spray a tiny bit now just so you can see it on skin. So once you spray it on, it hits your skin with a thwack, and there you have this really thick green liquid. And like Persian Assassin, it takes quite a long time for your skin to absorb it. It's certainly mine as well. So you have this film on your hand or wherever you've applied it for a while, which again, like Persian Assassin, don't get this on clothes. If you spray it on clothes, it will stay on your clothes forever. But if it's a light coloured clothing, or if it's a white shirt or something like that, I'm pretty sure that there may be a little bit of staining involved. So be careful with it. So what does it smell like? Well, first off, it's incredibly green, as you would expect with that colour liquid. Now, I have got a lot of green fragrances and I really, really enjoy them, but it doesn't smell anything like any of them. This is, I think what Naz has done is I know performance in a perfume is I know performance in a perfume is important to Naz, and you know, judging by these two, he's really, really ramped that up. So you've got a very, very long-lasting fragrance, and when I say long-lasting, I mean days. You need to wash them off when when they've run their course, or you're finished with them. They're not going to fade away. You're going to need to wash them off because they don't go anywhere. But this opens incredibly green. It's just, there's so much density to it. It's not a light fragrance. It's meant to sort of give an olfactory tour of a Persian garden, you know, with waters. And you can imagine it in your mind's eye. It's very pretty, sort of lush green, you know, sort of fountains and sort of almost tropical greenness. And you get that. You've got a little bit of citrus, but it all gets enveloped. Everything kind of screams at once. This isn't a perfume, for me anyway, where notes kind of shine and then disappear as other notes take over. This, for the first 3 to 4 hours at least, it smells exactly the same. It doesn't go anywhere. And what it is, it's just this massive, fresh, green smell that comes out. It's very soapy. So that means you will smell very clean and very fresh for a very long time. This is going to be one that I'm going to wear for work, especially this week when it's going to be really, really hot. I think on Thursday it's going to be like 34, Friday it's going to be like 33, 34, and I'm working out pretty much all morning in that. So this is going to be my scent of the day then, because it's, when you're, I don't know about you, but when I'm out at work or something like that, especially when you're dealing with the public, you're always paranoid, especially when it's hot, that you're not smelling fresh and clean, and this gives you that in spades. This oomph, this green opening, this soapiness. I've got the mental picture of the Persian Garden perfectly well, but for me this is like you're somewhere on, you've been into a Turkish spa or something like that, and you've been very hot, you've almost had a sauna, and then you've used some really expensive soaps and cleaned yourself and you're dried off. This is how you smell. This fresh, green and clean. It's very, very much there. There's a little bit of an edginess to it, and I'm not entirely sure where that's coming from. I think what happens is some of the florals start to creep through to give it a little bit more of a lift. And I mean, it's got rosewood in it, but I don't get rosewood in this at all. The green notes dominate this, to be honest with you. The lily and the jasmine, I think, are there to give it that uplifting thing. But honestly, when I've worn this, and I've worn this 3 or 4 times now, this green soapiness just stays with you for hours and hours and hours. It doesn't go anywhere. The performance is excellent. The longevity is here. It just goes on and on and on. When you spray it though, bizarrely, because with a lot of oil, very, very high concentration of oil in a fragrance, I always tend to find that they do last very well, but they don't necessarily project too well. Well, this one does. This one does really push out. If you were to overspray this one, you would have a problem. I think because it's so intense and it's so strong, and because it's so clean, if you put too much on it, it'll make your eyes water. It will be almost like an assault. So you need to be very, very careful with it. This morning I put one on this wrist, one on this wrist, and one on my chest, which is very light for me because I'm normally behind each ear and back of my head and kind of up my arms and all sorts. So I like to be immersed in my perfume. And this one, you just can't do it. It's too much for that. You would just be, you'd be like drowning in your own sillage. So be very, very careful with it. And that's another reason why I like these, because you don't need a lot. Yes, it's only a 15ml bottle, but this, it goes on forever. I've had this, 6 months, and I've barely put a dent in it. So it's you really, really need to go light with these oils. They're excellent value for money. And I like the fact that they're a spray, not a roll. I can't be doing roll-ons. They do my head in, to be honest. You know, I want to just spray something and go. I don't mind swiping ouds because I think in the evening when I enjoy my oud, you know, you're swiping and it's part of the process. It puts you more in touch with the oud that you're wearing. I like the whole rigmarole of applying it, but that's a very personal and relaxing thing. I think it's all part of the enjoying the oud process. For perfume, if I'm rushing in the mornings, you know, to go to work, or I'm rushing to go to work at night or whatever, I don't want to be mucking around, sort of rolling things on and swiping things. I just want to spray and go. And that's why I like these, because they, to me, definitely are much more in the attar world than they are in the perfume world. I haven't got any other perfumes from any other house that are quite as thick as these. So although they are perfumes, I tend to class them more as an attar or an oil. But the performance is excellent with this one. And it is so green and it is so fresh. The soapiness I particularly like. Now, Rich doesn't like soapy fragrances at all. One of the, you know, I recommended he blind bought a bottle of Halston Z14, which this does remind me of. And, you know, Rich tried it and it was just too much for him. It was too soapy. And this is about another soapy ×5 to the current version of Halston Z14, so it's a lot soapier than Halston. So I know Rich won't like this one, but I personally do like it. And this is going to be a real go-to for me for work. If you work in an office or something like that and you apply this lightly, it will be absolutely perfect. If you want to smell fresh and clean for a long period of time, this is kind of exactly where you want to be. This is the fragrance that will do that. So if you're working in an office, or it doesn't really matter where you're working, because it's nothing in here that's offensive. You're not going to drive anybody mad. But what I will say though, because of the powerhouse greenness of this does smell quite dated. So it's not a modern fragrance to me. And I don't think the young thrusters would probably appreciate it that much, because it does have a mature vibe to it. It's very masculine, especially when it dries down. Now I've got the dry down here. It becomes kind of manly, if you know what I mean. It's something that you would definitely associate with someone sort of my age, maybe a bit younger, and upwards. So it's kind of in that world. If you were to overspray this though, especially socially, you'd be very, very close to, you know, the hairy-chested medallion kind of cologne guy. So you need to be light with the trigger. And that's me saying that, who is, you know, never light on the trigger. But I certainly am with this one, because the performance is so strong. And also because of the style of fragrance it is. If you overload this, you know, you're not doing yourself any favours. You'll smell great, but you'll certainly, if I walk past you, I think you'd smell amazing. But you got to understand the public and the people around you may struggle a bit with you, because you will be too fresh, too green, and too 1970s. So that's kind of where we are with this. Very, very long lasting. I think it's excellent value and well worth exploring. It's a shame that that you can't get these outside of the UK. Because I think there's a good market for them. But if you're looking for a green powerhouse, homage to 80s perfumery, have a look at that. If you're a fan of Halston Z14, or things like that, it's not as refined as, say, Italian Cypress or Mousse Illuminée, and it won't be either, because it costs an absolute fraction to what they cost. And also it's kind of more of an attar. It's more of an oil. So comparing it with perfumes, I think, is a little unfair. But I do think that there is a place for this, and I certainly will be wearing it. So, you know, if you want a green machine to keep you clean, have a look at that. It's a really, really good one. The presentation is perfect. The little green bags. Oh, there's a song there, isn't there? The little green bags are excellent, and I think Naz knows exactly what he's doing. He's making interesting perfumes, and I love the fact that we've got so many of these smaller houses popping up, and, you know, people making really interesting perfumes that are out there to give us something else to look at, rather than, you know, just sort of going straight down the designer or the ultra expensive niche routes. You know, this is the variety that we look for in perfume. So happy days. So what I will say is, Naz, well done, mate. Thank you very much for the bottle. I'm going to enjoy this one, and I hope some of you guys do too. So, as always, your time is precious, and we appreciate you sharing it with us. So thank you very much for your time, guys, and we will see you very soon on the next video. Take care, cheers, and bye.